I'm fairly new to the company. I've been with them for about 6 months. Luckily, they've given me a lot of freedom to play around with some of the beers and stuff like that, and that's really what it's all about for me, having fun and making outstanding beers. The company itself started back in 2004. Rob and Amy Cartwright are the owners. They're not here today, but so this coming October will be our 5-year anniversary, and we'll have a big party at the brewery. You can check out the website. It's www.independencebrewing.com, and we expect 500 to 600, 700 people there. We'll have tons of bands and lots of good beer and good times. Let me tell you a little bit about the beers that we brought today. We start with the Freestyle Wheat. It's an American-style wheat ale. It's our lightest beer, and as Chip was talking about the difference between like ales and lagers, all of our beers are ales. So all of our beers use the top fermenting yeast at a little bit of a warmer temperature, and fermentation takes less time. So you get more of those fruity esters that Chip was talking about. Now with the Freestyle Wheat, it's a beer that we kind of baby. We don't want those fruity esters too much, so we try to keep them low. We keep the fermentation temperature down pretty low, about 65 degrees. And it just comes out with a really nice, drinkable, crisp, kind of a neutral, balanced, well-flavored beer. After that, we've got the Austin Amber, which is our #1 beer. And this beer is also an ale, top fermented ale. And the thing that everyone loves about this beer is its caramel aspect, its caramel character. Now this is due to adding like special types of malt. Again, like Chip was saying, different types of malt. The crystal malt is a specialty malt that they make by partially caramelizing the malt kernel itself, and then we get it that way. So we can add it to the beer, and it actually adds a great caramel aspect to the beer. So this is an amber-colored beer. It's very drinkable, and it's also got some American hops. It's got a little bit of a Cascade hop character, which is one of the most classic hops in this country, grown in the Yakima Valley in Washington State, which is where most of the hops that we get in this country are grown in the Pacific Northwest. After that, we've got the Bootlegger Brown Ale, and this is one of our darkest beers. It almost falls in the range of a porter, but not quite. It's still a little bit light to be called a porter, so it's got that rich, chocolatey, a little bit of coffee flavor. It's very smooth, very little hop character. Really just focusing on the malt with this one, the sweetness of the malt itself. And then we also brought the Stash IPA, which is kind of a small batch beer that we make. It started as a seasonal. Looks like we're going to probably start making it full-time soon, and we'll probably start bottling it within the next 6 months, I imagine, so you can look out for that in the stores. So right now it's draft only. They've got it on tap inside. Lots of places around town have it on tap. Now this is one of our most aggressive beers, the Stash IPA. This one it's got the malt balance, but it's also really focused a little bit more to the hop side of the beer balance itself. It's got 4 different types of hops in it. It's got Horizon hops, Cascade, also Centennial, and a little bit of Amarillo. And the Amarillo are the ones that really give it that fruity kind of grapefruit flavor, aroma, that real floral, fresh flavor that just hits you in the nose when you get a glass of it. And it's just an outstanding hop. Also grown in Washington State. Some of the other beers that we didn't bring today are the Jasperilla, which is a bottle-only version. Well, I shouldn't say that. We'll have a few kegs for a few special bars next time we brew it. But we bottle it into 22-ounce bombers, and it's an old English-style aged ale. It's about 10% alcohol. We're still working through our last year's batch of that one. We'll probably be brewing it in a few more months here, and it should be on the market in about 6 months. We also do an Imperial Oatmeal Stout, which is just a black, thick, lovely beer. It's silky smooth and just awesome. It's about 9.5% alcohol itself, and it's just full of that sweet, roasty, caramely, coffee goodness that you want in like a stout. Also the pale ale. We didn't bring any pale ale. I decided not to. I brought the IPA instead. And the pale ale is kind of along the same lines of the IPA. It's leaning a little bit more to the hop end of the balance of the beers. Not as aggressive as the IPA, so it's still got a nice malt backbone to it, but it's also got the nice classic American hop character. And it's also dry hopped in the tank as well, the pale ale, which means after the fermentation process is complete, we'll add fresh hops to the tank itself, and this just really gets those real essential oils that would have been lost if we put them in the boil. They would have just boiled away. You never would have known they were there. So we put them in the tank after the fermentation process when the beer's kind of cool, and it really captures those real delicate aromatic oils in the hops. So that's the kind of thing you'll taste in the pale ale and the IPA as well. It's also dry hopped with the Amarillo and Cascade hops. I think that's all of our beers. We're always trying new things. We've got a little pilot system at the brewery, so we're always playing around. I try to hit it up once or twice a month and bring in different types of yeast, different types of hops, different malts, and just have fun with it. And if you're lucky, if you come by on the first Saturday of the month, which is when we have our open house, every first Saturday of the month, sometimes you can get a little taste of those when you go on the tour. We usually do about 2 tours a day, and we try to include those at the end of the tour, those special tastings at the end. So stop on by and see what we're up to. And I think that's it. Any questions, anyone?